Hello, Dr. Schlegel. This is Matt Strickland, otherwise known as your favorite student, coming to you live from my house. It's about 12:45 at night, and I just remembered that I have an essay due for you, so I figured I would do a video and see if it'll send. Hopefully this thing sends, and we get this out of the way. So the first question I want to address is who should teach music? Obviously, I should teach music because the fact is I love music. I have a passion for it. It is the only thing in life that I actually feel like I'm good at. A characteristics music teachers should have is they should always be positive. At least for their students. There's a fatigue factor there that can get in, but you just always have to have a positive attitude. And another thing that music teachers should have that makes them really effective is just make sure they're always planning ahead and always challenging their students in ways that they would want to be challenged. Hopefully encourage them to practice, and because that's exactly what I want to encourage my students to do is practice, practice, practice. I want to run the best show choir in the nation. And the only way I can feel like I can do that is to encourage my students to practice and be good learners. As far as who should learn music goes, I think everybody should learn music. I think that everybody has characteristics that make them a musician. Sometimes they don't even know it. Sometimes people don't realize characteristics they have that make them an absolute musician. And sometimes they're drawn away from music because people don't invite them to do it. And I believe that everybody deserves to do music. I will give everybody a chance in my ensembles. It starts the audition process. I think music is good for everybody, not just one person. And I honestly believe that everybody in the school should be involved in at least one thing in music, whether it be show choir or band or choir. I think it's good for the soul to have multi things going on in your life, not just athletics, not just academics. I think you need that music aspect to keep your soul clean, because honestly, it cleanses. Um, Success in music is hard to predict, um, especially if you're not practicing. So for me, you got to be able to practice and you got to be able to pay attention. And that sort of segues to another question: how should music be taught? Honestly, I believe that music should be taught slowly and carefully. And what I mean by that is, do not go through the piece really fast, and do not think that just because you finish a piece within a day, the students are gonna remember it. I had a show choir teacher when I was in high school that went through a whole piece, and we probably got through it within a day, and we didn't remember anything the next day. So for me, what I've learned is you take a section that you feel like they can learn right off the bat, and you go over that section over and over again. And yes, it gets annoying. Trust me, I know how annoying it gets. I look at Dr. Flannery every day because it gets annoying, but it gets drilled in my head, and I believe that music should be taught like that. As long as you keep doing it over and over again, and make them do it without music a couple of times, and hopefully they can start to get it. Um, and apply it like when you take one section and they learn it, put it with another section and make sure it clicks, connect it, if you will. I believe music students can musically achieve anything they set their mind to. For me, it's going to start during the audition process. I'm going to pick my show choir based off the auditions, and then I'm going to set the bar as high as I feel like I can set it. Uh, I want to be the best, so I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to make sure that we set the bar high, and I think my students are up to the task. I'm not going to set the bar way too high because I feel like that'd probably be a waste of my time. But I do know that I'm going to set it pretty high, and there's not going to be anybody to waver my decision. If I feel like my show choir can accomplish the bar that I set, then I'm going to keep it there because I believe that I'm going to be a fantastic teacher one day with the characteristics that I'm already learning so far at Southern. And I feel like I'm going to be a fantastic teacher, and I feel like the students are going to be able to feed off that and be able to learn. Um, what musical content should be taught and experienced? I think that there are a lot of areas that should be taught and experienced, and one area that I truly believe in, besides classical, we'll get to that in a second, is pop. Um, what people don't realize is pop is going to be the music that people study in the future. I believe anyway. We look in all these books and all these histories of Bach and Mozart and all that, and that's great. I feel like that should be taught as well. But one thing the typical music major that I've met has always said is that pop doesn't have a place in music, and that's just simply not true. That is why I want to change that. I want to be the new music major and incorporate every style of music into my teaching. If that means the hiring of a separate teacher to teach choir and Bach and all that, then be my guest. But I want to make sure my students are well rounded and are be able to pick the music based on what they want, not what the basic mold wants. And what I mean by that is if you come to Southern, Dr. Schlegel, I'm sure you're aware, a lot of these music majors, all they want to hear is classical stuff, and if you even talk about pop, they'll laugh in your face. And that's not what I want for my students. I want them to have dreams, and I want them to be able to pursue them, just like I'm doing. Um, I think that there are good qualities in everything, and I think that they should be exposed to world music. I think that that makes them more well-rounded, and they can choose their path from there. And here's the reason why I should teach music, or why people should teach music. Um, it's just music is just good for you. Um, it has made me think differently. Like there's certain attitudes that I have that I get from music. Um, I think that is just important as any subject in school because there's actual careers to be made from music, not just. I mean, like you have things that you learn in math and stuff, but I went to a high school that had programs in welding and had programs in agriculture and had programs in football and all, and that gives people an idea of what they want to do for the rest of their life. And I think music does that as well. There may be instances where people come in and it's not just extracurricular. They may want to do this for a living. And so I think music should be taught not just for those students, but for everybody, just to get a glimpse of what musicians go through. And I think that's a fantastic notion. A couple things I want to add. Like I said, I want to be different. I came to Southern knowing what to expect because I'm a new music major. I was turned off to music majors at JCJC when I was at Jones County Junior College because every music major there, including my teachers, thought that pop music was irrelevant, and that's just simply not true. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick by that, Dr. Schlegel. You may disagree with me too, but it's just simply not true. I believe that pop music, rock music, all that is the music of the future, and students will be learning about it in textbooks. I think they're going to learn about how the Beatles broke up and all about Yoko. I think they're going to learn about Michael Jackson and all the trials he went through and through his death. I think there's going to be stuff like that people are going to learn about in the future. It may not be in the history books now, and it may seem a far-fetched memory, but then again, back in the day, people probably never thought that people would be talking about Bach this far in the future either. I know that may sound ridiculous, but it's the truth. And I am here to change that. I'm here to be a different music major and to be this more modern type guy. I want to be that guy. Um, and I know that that's going to take a lot of practice. I know that at first people aren't going to like my idea. I'm prepared for that. Criticism is what I've dealt with all my life. And I got to say, the most blessed experience that I've had in this program is the interview with Dr. Flannery. He gave me an insight on what I'm going to have to deal with as a music major, and I really appreciated that activity. In conclusion, I just want to thank you for being a good teacher and a good mentor. You've helped me out tremendously with my decisions. And one more thing. Roll Tide. Always remember that. Good night, Dr. Schlegel. It's been a pleasure, and Merry Christmas.